Picture this. You finally get that promotion you've been grinding for. Maybe it's a standard 10% bump, or maybe you jumped ship to a new company for a decent raise. You're feeling good. You're feeling validated. So you decide to treat yourself. Just one thing. You've been eyeing that new high-end ergonomic office chair. You know the one. Mesh back, lumbar support, costs about as much as a used Honda. You tell yourself, I work hard. I sit for 8 hours a day. This is an investment in my health. And honestly, that logic holds up. You buy the chair. It arrives, you set it up, it looks incredible, sleek, modern, professional, but then you push it under your desk and suddenly your desk looks like garbage. I mean, literally, it's that cheap particle board desk you bought from IKEA 5 years ago. It's got a coffee ring stain on the corner and a chip in the laminate. Before the chair arrived, you didn't even notice the desk. It was just furniture. But now that it's next to this $1,000 masterpiece of engineering, the desk looks offensive. So, what do? You buy a new desk. Obviously, a nice standing desk with a walnut top. But wait, now that you have the premium chair and the walnut standing desk, your cable management looks like a rat's nest. You need wireless peripherals, you need a monitor arm, you need those ambient light strips everyone on TikTok has. 3 weeks later, you haven't just bought a chair. You've remodeled an entire room. You've spent $3,000 you didn't plan to spend, all because you bought one thing that didn't fit the narrative of your current life. This is not an accident. This is a psychological phenomenon called the Diderot Effect. And it is the single greatest reason why high-income earners end up broke, and why so many of you feel like no matter how much more money you make, you never actually get ahead. Most people think poverty is a result of not earning enough. But for the vast majority of people watching this channel, people with jobs, side hustles, degrees, poverty isn't an income problem. It's a consumption spiral. Today we are going to break down exactly how your brain tricks you into financial ruin, the math behind why upgrading is a wealth killer, and how to stop the bleeding before you hemorrhage your entire future. Part 1. The Man in the Scarlet Robe. Now you might be thinking, Ethan, why is it called the Diderot Effect? That sounds like a boring French textbook. Well, it is French, but it's definitely not boring. It's named after Denis Diderot. He was a French philosopher in the 1700s. The guy was brilliant. He created one of the first comprehensive encyclopedias, but he was broke. Like, couldn't pay for his daughter's wedding, broke. Then things changed. Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, heard about his financial struggles and offered to buy his library from him for a massive sum of money. Suddenly, Diderot was flush with cash. So he did what any of us would do. He went shopping. He bought himself a beautiful scarlet velvet dressing gown, a robe. It was elegant, it was luxurious, it was fit for a king. But as soon as he put it on and sat down in his study, he noticed something wrong. He wrote an essay about this later, titled, Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown. In it, he said, there was no more coordination, no more unity, no more beauty. His old dusty books, his rickety chair, his cheap rug, they all looked out of place next to the magnificent robe. The robe was so commanding that it demanded everything around it be upgraded to match its quality. So Diderot replaced his rug with one from Damascus. He bought beautiful sculptures. He bought a new mirror to place over the mantel. He replaced his straw chair with a leather one. He kept buying and buying until his entire environment matched the robe. And at the end of it, he was broke again. He wrote, I was the absolute master of my old dressing gown, but I have become the slave of my new one. Look, that quote should chill you to the bone. How many things do you own right now that you are a slave to? Think about your phone. You buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Do you just use the phone? No. You need the MagSafe case. Then you realize your old wired headphones are inconvenient, so you drop $250 on AirPods Pro. Then you need the Apple Watch to complete the ecosystem. You didn't buy a phone, you signed a contract for a new identity. This is where most people get it wrong. They think they are making independent purchase decisions. No, you are seeking Diderot unity. If you drive a beat-up Toyota Corolla, you are okay with wearing a cheap watch and eating fast food. The story is consistent. But if you buy a BMW, suddenly the fast food wrappers in the passenger seat feel wrong. The cheap watch feels wrong. The story has a plot hole. Part 2. The math of the spiral. Okay, let's get into the numbers. Because I know some of you are sitting there saying, Ethan, come on. Buying a new phone case isn't going to keep me poor. You're right, a phone case won't keep you poor, but the chain reaction cost will. Let's look at a realistic scenario that I see all the time with people in their mid-20s. Let's call him Alex. Alex gets a new job. He's making $60,000 a year. Not rich, but comfortable. He decides to move into a luxury apartment complex because he wants to network and fit in with the young professionals. Rent is $400 more per month than his old place. $400 times 12 equals $4,800 a year. That's the sticker price. That's what Alex calculates in his budget. He thinks, I can afford $4,800. But here is what most people don't realize. The apartment is just the scarlet robe. Because it's a luxury complex, there's a dress code expectation in the lobby and the social areas. Alex feels scrubby in his old hoodies. He upgrades his wardrobe. Cost $1,500. The apartment has a high-end gym. Alex cancels his cheap Planet Fitness membership, $10 per month. He invites friends over. He can't serve them beer in solo cups on a folding table in this luxury unit. He buys a West Elm dining set and starts buying craft beer and charcuterie boards instead of pizza. Now let's look at the math. Sticker price of upgrade, $4,800 per year. Diderot Unity costs $1,500 plus $600 plus $1,200 equals $3,300. Total first-year cost, $8,100. That is nearly double the sticker price. Now let's compound that. If Alex had taken that $8,100 and invested it in an S&P 500 index fund with an average return of 8%, and he did that every year, in 10 years, that isn't just $81,000. With compound interest, that is over $126,000. He burned a down payment on a house. He burned 2 years of retirement freedom. And this is just one example. We do this with cars, with hobbies, with relationships. You decide to get fit. Do you just do push-ups? No. You buy the Whoop strap, the supplements, the specialized shoes, the organic meal prep delivery service. You spend $500 before you've done a single squat. This is why you're broke. You are front-loading the cost of an identity you haven't even earned yet. Part 3. The Newness Trap and Gen Z. This is where it gets really interesting and, honestly, a little scary for the younger generation. If you are Gen Z or a millennial, you are fighting a battle that Diderot couldn't have even imagined. He had a robe. You have an algorithm. Social media has weaponized the Diderot effect. It's no longer just about buying things. It's about buying aesthetics. Think about it. The clean girl aesthetic, the old money aesthetic, the cottagecore aesthetic. These aren't just fashion trends. They are total lifestyle systems. If you want to participate in the clean girl trend, you can't just buy the makeup. You need the clear organizers for your bathroom, which implies you have a nice bathroom, the matching beige loungewear, the specific gold hoop earrings, the green juice blender. The algorithm feeds you content that points out the inconsistencies in your life. It shows you a video of someone's morning routine, and your brain immediately spots the difference between their reality and yours. Their coffee machine is nicer. Their sheets are linen, mine are cotton. Their lighting is warm, mine is harsh. This triggers a dopamine deficit. And the easiest, fastest way to close that gap is to click Add to Cart. You are trying to match the spending habits of people who write these purchases off as business expenses. You are playing a game you are mathematically guaranteed to lose. Part 4. The Solution. How to stop the bleeding. So, are we doomed? Is the answer to live in a cave, sleep on the floor, and hoard gold like a dragon? No, I'm not a minimalist extremist. I like nice things. I'm recording this on a nice camera. I'm wearing a decent watch. But you have to move from being a passive consumer to an active owner. Here is the framework to kill the Diderot effect before it kills your bank account. 1. The buy nothing containment period. When you buy a gateway item, a new phone, a new couch, a new car, you enter the danger zone. For the next 30 days after a big purchase, you are legally forbidden by the laws of Ethan from buying any accessories or upgrades for that item. You bought the new desk? Great. Use your old chair for 30 days. You bought the new camera? Great. Use the kit lens for 30 days. This breaks the dopamine cycle. It forces you to live with the inconsistency. And guess what happens? After 2 weeks, your brain stops caring. The shock of the new item wears off. You realize your old chair actually sits just fine. You save thousands just by waiting for the emotional fever to break. 2. Calculate the system cost, not the item cost. Before you buy anything significant, I want you to pause and ask, what else will this ask me to buy? If you buy a suit, you need shoes, a belt, and tailoring. If you buy a gaming PC, you need the monitor, the mouse, the keyboard, and the games. Write down the total cost of ownership. If you can afford the item, but you can't afford the system that comes with it, you can't afford the item, period. It's better to be the guy with a paid-off Honda and a fat investment portfolio than the guy with the BMW and the crippling credit card debt trying to maintain the luxury driver image. 3. Choose utility over identity. This is the hardest one. Stop buying things to become a person. Start buying things because you are that person. Don't buy the fancy running shoes to become a runner. Run in your beat-up sneakers for 6 months. Once you have run 500 miles, then buy the shoes. The shoes are a reward for the habit, not a bribe to start it. When you buy things to support a habit you already have, it's an investment. When you buy things to create a habit you hope to have, it's a waste. Conclusion. Look, Diderot was right. We are slaves to our possessions. Every new thing you bring into your life is a responsibility. It's a thing you have to clean, maintain, insure, store, and eventually upgrade. The reason you feel poor despite working hard is that you are trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You pour money in, hoping to reach the top, hoping to finally feel complete, but every time you buy a new shiny patch for the bucket, the pressure creates 3 new holes. The only way to win is to stop looking for completion in the mall. Your identity does not come from the cohesion of your furniture. It comes from your competence, your character, and your freedom. And there is nothing, and I mean nothing, more luxurious than opening your banking app and seeing a safety net that could let you quit your job tomorrow if you wanted to. That is a robe that actually fits everyone. I want you to try something for me. Go to the one room in your house that stresses you out the most, the one you've been dying to renovate or upgrade. Take a picture of it, look at it, and realize that changing what's in that picture won't change who is looking at it. Only you can do that. If you're ready to stop the spiral, I've got a challenge for you. For the next 7 days, I want you to participate in a no-upgrade week. You can buy food and essentials, but you cannot buy a single thing that replaces or upgrades something you already own. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.